Menopause belly used to be so frustrating until I changed these 5 things I am going to share with you today. These are the same strategies that help my peri and postmenopause clients lose belly fat so that they are not trying to hide their belly in every single photo that they take. Strategy number 1, stop eating low calorie and low quality foods. When I first noticed my belly was getting larger, even though nothing in my life had changed, I went back to cutting out carbs and eating keto approved foods, and I would pride myself on eating these low carb meals because I thought carbs were bad and make you gain weight. Now I know I cannot be the only one who had this thought, right? But here I was. I went right back to eating a low carb diet because that worked so well for me when I was younger. When I was in my 20s, I could start a low carb diet and be vacation ready in 4 to 6 weeks. But unfortunately, I did not see the same results I did once I hit perimenopause. Now, the problem with eating low carb or the low carb food approach is that you could actually be eating highly processed foods, and this does nothing to support gut health. During perimenopause, our bodies cannot handle these processed foods like we did when we were younger. Estrogen reduces inflammation, it supports a healthy gut microbiome, and it supports the gut barrier integrity. And this is going to make sense when I tell you this. A review article that was released in March of 2026 showed that menopausal women suffer a wide variety of gastrointestinal disorders. So when estrogen and progesterone levels decline as they do in perimenopause, we see these GI issues. We see a lot more inflammation, other GI symptoms such as GERD, irritable bowel syndrome, heartburn, and bloating. Now, to fix this, we want to focus on eating higher quality, nutrient-dense foods. This includes things like broccoli, kale, lentils, beans, sweet potatoes, berries, oats, chia seeds, just to name a few. Now, these foods are high in fiber, which is what we need to improve gut health. You want to aim for 25 to 35 grams of fiber per day. More fiber increases diversity in the gut and is going to improve the gut microbiome. This is going to reduce the bloating and it's going to make you feel a whole lot better. You also want to eat fermented foods such as yogurt, kefir, and kimchi. Now, strategy number 2. More foods that are made in your very own kitchen. Yes, you have to start planning and preparing your meals at home. Foods prepared outside of the home are filled with lots of inflammatory oils and sugars, and high sugar, high fructose foods are really bad for us. High sugar foods will also feed the bad bacteria in your gut, which is going to worsen your GI symptoms. It is now time to stop saying that you don't have time. Once you get a system of preparing your foods, you will find that you actually do have time because you are not cooking every day or planning a different meal every day of the week. You are also not spending the energy or the time wasting trying to figure out a meal after working 8, 9, 10, or even 12 hours. Your excuse of meal planning has been officially eliminated. So at this stage of life, we become insulin resistant. Insulin resistance means your body does not respond to the insulin the way that it used to before these changes in your hormones. When you eat carbs, your pancreas releases insulin to bring that sugar into your cells to be used as fuel. When you have insulin resistance, your cells don't easily take that insulin in, which leaves insulin and sugar in your bloodstream for longer periods of time, and this is going to lead to inflammation. These repeated cycles of extra work on the pancreas will lead to type 2 diabetes if you don't do something about it. Now, many women that have insulin resistance, they have a large belly from visceral fat, and visceral fat is not the same as the subcutaneous fat that you can pinch on your side. You may very well have both, but visceral fat is the dangerous fat that sits around your organs. Insulin resistance could also show up as dark patches on your neck or in the skin folds. The fancy term for this is acanthosis nigricans. Other symptoms of insulin resistance includes low energy and fatigue, brain fog, feeling hungry after a meal, or frequent urination. So when I hear women say they want to get rid of their belly, I 1000% support this request because it's not just a vanity metric. This is a real health emergency. Now, don't get this twisted. I 100% support you wanting to look great. I 100% support you wanting to feel confident. I 100% support you loving the way that your clothes fit. But that is because I selfishly want you to get rid of the belly because it is slowly killing you. Insulin resistance leads to cardiovascular disease, fatty liver disease, and cancer. We have to do better. We have to get rid of that. Now, the nurse practitioner in me is off her soapbox. Let's talk about how to fix it. In order to fix insulin resistance, you need to improve insulin sensitivity, and we do that by building muscle through resistance training. Now, I'm not talking about Pilates. So many women buy into the whole Pilates thing. And yes, it is a whole vibe for some people, but it's not actually building muscle. Now, you could do Pilates for breath work, for flexibility that it teaches you, or to improve core strength. All of these things are wonderful, but you need to pick up the weights and actually build muscle. Muscle is going to improve insulin sensitivity. Having more muscle means you have somewhere for all of that sugar to go other than inside of your fat cells. Muscle also uses more energy while you're resting. So that means you're gonna burn more calories at rest. You only need 3 days of strength training per week. And I like to focus on compound movements so that I am targeting multiple muscles with one exercise. Compound movements include things like sumo squats, pull-ups, deadlifts, etc. Now check out this video right here where I covered a lot of the compound movements that I would recommend for any woman just getting started with her weightlifting journey. Building muscle is actually how you are going to see body composition changes. This is how I was finally able to lose this belly hair and actually see more definition in my body. Once I got consistent with strength training, I stopped trying to lose weight over and over and over again. I was actually able to build my body up and keep the weight off well into my 40s at this point. The other thing you can do is to increase your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, also known as NEAT. This is just a fancy term for saying you need to move more. My favorite way of doing this is going for a walk after a meal. Walking after meals will allow your muscles to soak up the sugar without relying on the insulin. You can go for a walk during a phone call while you're catching up with a friend. I like to walk on a treadmill or on a walking pad while I am reading emails, or maybe if I'm even creating content. In addition to 3 strength training workouts per week, have 1 fun workout per week. This could actually be your Pilates. Now, I like high intensity interval training for my workouts. This is my fun workout for the week. It's short, it's effective, it gives me a lot of energy. Additionally, HIIT workouts are going to leave you burning calories for hours even after the workout is over. Now, another way to improve insulin sensitivity is to make sure that you are getting at least 30 to 40 grams of protein with each meal. Most women are under eating protein, doing things like 1 egg or trying to eat healthy. Maybe you get like little egg bites from a local coffee shop. This is actually not enough protein in those things, and those little egg bites have a lot of preservatives in there. 1 to 2 eggs is not high protein. 1 egg has 6 grams of protein. Now, I like eggs, but what I usually do is do 2 eggs and 2 egg whites, or I might have a couple of eggs with a lean source of meat such as chicken breast or ground turkey. Now, there are a few recipes in the meal prep guide that's linked in the description below. The reason that you want to have protein with every meal is protein is going to make sure that those carbs do not hit your system in such a quick manner. All right, now we also want to reduce alcohol intake or just avoid it altogether. Alcohol damages the gut microbiome, and alcohol also impairs estrogen metabolism. Now, I know you might be thinking, but we don't have a lot of estrogen, so why do we want to get rid of it? During perimenopause, estrogen levels are fluctuating, wide up and down spikes. So we want our body to be able to get rid of the excess levels, and this is done through the liver. Alcohol impairs our liver's ability to get rid of anything. Once you drink alcohol, your body is only focused on getting rid of that toxin. Alcohol also increases your risk of estrogen-related breast cancer and fibroids, and that is because we are not getting rid of it out of the body as we should when we drink alcohol. Now, this next strategy is sometimes overlooked. We have to manage our stress. There is no reward for the most stressed person. You will not win at this one. The loss of estrogen and progesterone increases stress and anxiety. Serotonin, this is the good feeling neurotransmitter. A large portion of this is made in our gut. When we have large hormonal fluctuations, as we do with perimenopause, you're going to see an increase in anxiety, depression, and stress triggered GI symptoms. When you are not treating your gut well, this is going to be made worse. All of these things are connected, and this is another reason why you want to improve your gut health using the tips that I shared earlier. Cortisol. Cortisol is the hormone that is released when we are stressed. Also a little higher at baseline during this time. So chronically elevated levels of cortisol is going to increase fat storage and it's going to drive insulin resistance. This means we have to lean into a schedule, a consistent pattern for workouts, meals, relaxation, and self-care. We have so many responsibilities at this age. We have grown kids that still rely on us. We have family members that have health issues. We have stressful jobs, and sometimes we have stressful marriages. I see a lot of women at this age that come to the conclusion that their marriage is no longer serving them and they just want to get out of it. All of these things are the reasons why you really need to focus on managing stress at this level of your life. More stress means more belly fat. Now, here are some great ways for you to improve your stress. I want you to schedule a spa day a few times per month. Do some yoga and breath work. When you wake up in the morning, do not touch your phone. Spend a few minutes with yourself, kind of getting your mind ready for the day. I like to read a scripture and a daily devotional before I start my day. This allows me to spend time with God uninterrupted before my day begins. Go for a walk first thing in the morning and leave your phone at home. Get some sun in your eyes and on your body. This can be very relaxing, and this is going to also support a healthy circadian rhythm. Practice gratitude first thing in the morning and at night before you go to bed. Now, this is going to take me to strategy number 5, and I want to make sure that you are getting a good sleep routine. Poor sleep is going to increase cortisol, and we already know that increased cortisol levels are going to contribute to extra abdominal fat. Also, 1 to 2 nights of poor sleep is going to increase insulin resistance. Having poor sleep is going to cause weight gain through other mechanisms, such as poorly regulated hunger hormones. And when you don't get a lot of sleep, you end up being hungrier throughout the day. You're moving less, you're eating more, so it just contributes to this whole cycle that we are trying to get out of. Now, there are a lot of perimenopausal women that report sleep issues. This is due to low levels of estrogen and progesterone. Many women report improvement in sleep after they start HRT, but HRT may not be an option for everyone. And even if it is an option for you, you still need to be doing the things that I am going to share with you. Things that can promote better sleep. No devices 1 to 2 hours before bed. The light from the device signals that it is daytime, and this is going to tell your brain to stay awake. No food 1 to 2 hours before bed. Your body will then be focused on digesting the food and not focused on sleeping. Journal before bed. This is going to help prevent your brain from running through every single scenario and everything that you want to remember that you need to do. You can also use that time to make a list for the next day and have a plan for attack as soon as you wake up. Avoid anything stimulating right before bed. No alcohol. This disrupts your sleep cycle. Now remember, you are always one decision away from your next goal. It's up to you how you treat this stage of life. You cannot stop perimenopause from happening, but you can control your inputs. You can be the same woman in 1 to 2 years from now, still complaining about having a big belly and saying, I need to be more disciplined. Or you can be the woman who says, I look way better now than I did when I was 30. The choice is ultimately yours. Now, I want to see in the comments down below which one of these tips you are going to implement this week. And if you thought this video was helpful, you will really enjoy this next video where I talk about 9 mistakes that make weight loss hard after 40. And as always, I pray for your health and wellness journey. Be blessed.